What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I am here to do my other quick hit scouting report video. The Week 2 matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the New Orleans Saints. As I promised, I was going to do another one tonight. The only thing is I realized that I probably need to be a little bit better because I probably should have had this video out before tonight's game was played. So that way you could see how the Carolina Panthers had done through 2 games. Updated league standings after 2 games. Whereas, it kind of went from their first matchup to now their third matchup because they just played tonight. Anyway, that's on me. I'll take care of that and be sure to be better in the future. But because it's a little strange now, doing the Panthers for week 2 after I just did the Panthers for week 3, but it is what it is. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. The Saints, they, after having a phenomenal week 1, they kind of fell off a little bit in week 2. They had a rough game against against the Panthers. And, defensively, they still, and you'll see this when we get to the league standings, defensively, they still are pretty good in the standings, but they took a major hit in the offensive league standings. So let's go ahead and jump right into this. Obviously, they had dropped to 1-1 on the season. Obviously, now the Panthers are 3-0 after their win tonight, but they obviously moved to 2-0 after this win. They held the Saints to only 7 points, and they won. The Panthers won 26-7. So let's take a look at these stats now. Let's jump right into this, and we'll get an idea here. So look. The Panthers had 383 total yards. The Saints only were able to get 128, right? And now look, that Carolina Panthers defense is looking pretty strong to this part of the season, but it is going to be interesting to see how these things play out throughout the year. And obviously, what's most important to us as Dolphins fans is how these teams are looking right when they, right as the Dolphins are about to play them. But it is interesting to keep track of all these teams as we go. So let's continue on. Carolina had 294 passing yards. The Saints only had 80. The Panthers had 89 rushing yards to the 48 for the Saints. 5.2 yards per play for Carolina, 3 for the Saints. The Saints obviously had a super rough day in week 2. Neither team gave up a fumble. The Panthers threw one interception, whereas the Saints threw 2. The Saints allowed 4 sacks. Carolina only allowed 2. The Saints were only 18% on third down. Obviously not very good, to the 53% for Carolina. Carolina had it for 38-32. This is super lopsided in time of possession to the 21-28 of the Saints. The Saints also had 11 fucking penalties, like Jesus Christ. That obviously didn't help them. And the Panthers only had 5. So, hey man, you got to play clean football. It obviously isn't going to help you if you don't play clean football. So Sam Darnold was 26 for 38, 305 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Christian McCaffrey led the way rushing, 24 rushes, 72 yards, a touchdown and a 3 average. Chuba Hubbard threw in 8 rushes for 10 yards and a 1-3. DJ Moore led the way, 8 out of 11, 79 and a touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, 5 of 6, 65. Dan Arnold, 3 of 4, 55. Brandon Zylstra, 3 of 3 for 44 and 1 touchdown. Robbie Anderson, 3 of 6, 38. Terrace Marshall, 3 of 3, 17. And of course, as usual, I will scroll down so that way you guys can see the rest. It just would take too long and whatever to read through all this, so I figure I will just show you so you can pause the video if you choose. All right, Saints. Jameis Winston in this game, obviously he had a phenomenal week 1 through 5 touchdowns, etc. Well, week 2 wasn't so hot for him. He threw for 11 out of 22, only 111 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. So obviously, the turnovers didn't help them and stuff either. So Jameis Winston led the way in rushing, which is obviously not good. You can't, especially when you have a guy like Alvin Kamara on the team, you can't be putting up these paltry numbers in the rushing game, right? Jameis Winston had 3 rushes, 19 yards, a touchdown, and a 6.3 average, and Taysom Hill had 2 rushes for 16 yards and an 8 average. After that, there was nothing. Receiving, Lil Jordan Humphrey had 1 for 27 yards and 1 out of 2 for 27 yards. And look at this. I mean, nothing through the air either. Alvin Kamara was 4 of 6, 25. Juwan Johnson, 1 of 3, 23. And Chris Hogan, 1 for 3 of 16. And then, of course, just real quick to scroll through the rest of this for you guys. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, it was a tale of two teams for the Saints from week 1 to week 2. You know, they went from having a phenomenal week 1 performance where they absolutely destroyed the Green Bay Packers to having a complete flub against the Carolina Panthers, right? So, you know, hey man, that's the way the ball bounces, and that's how the NFL rolls. So it is what it is, man. And that's why you gotta come out to play each and every week. So anyway, you know, I did already do the league standings for Carolina in my previous video, but they currently have 1,171 total yards. Obviously, this includes their week 3 matchup tonight. So it is, you know, 3 games for them, 2 games for the Saints, and that's why part of why I need to be a little bit better in my timing of these videos, so that way, you know, it's not kind of lopsided. Anyway, but as of week 3, they have 1,171 total yards. That puts them in first. The Saints only have 450, which drops them into 32nd. 390.3 yards per game for the Panthers, which is 10th. 225 for the Saints, which is 32nd. 888 total yards passing for the Panthers, which is first. 262 for the Saints, which is 32nd. Per game, it's 296 for the Panthers, which is 10th. $131 for the Saints, which is 32nd. Total rushing is 317 for the Panthers, which is 3rd. 219 for the Saints, which is 16th. Rushing yards per game is 105.7 for the Panthers. That's 20th. 109.5 for the Saints, which is 17th. Total points, the Panthers, have 69, which is 3rd. The Saints have 45, which is 19th. Points per game, 23 for the Panthers, which is 16th, and 22.5 for the Saints, which is 18th. And that's what I'm saying, right? They went from scoring 40, 50 something points in their first game to scoring, 7 in game 2, right? So obviously the Saints need to find some more balance there and not have, quite so... I mean, I'm sure they love to have the lopsided win, just not so much the lopsided loss, and so on and so forth, right? So, anyway, yards per game defensively, the Panthers are only giving up 191, which is first. That's pretty crazy, though, for having now played 3 games. 306 for the Saints, which is 7th. And as you can see, the defensive statistics for the Saints are still pretty good overall. So, they definitely, their season's not over after having lost this terrible loss to the Panthers. And especially since the Panthers are playing pretty good football the first 3 weeks of the season. Passing yards per game, the Panthers are 179 defensively, right, giving up. So that's 2nd. The Saints are giving up 253, which is 13th. Rushing yards, the Panthers are only giving up 45 yards on the ground, man, which is 1st. Saints are 3rd, though, with 66. Points per game, 10 only for the Panthers, which is 1st in the league, which is crazy. It's so low, man. Anyway, we'll see how it goes for the rest of the year, though. Hopefully their defense doesn't stay this good, because then otherwise, like I said in my previous video, we might have a tough time against them. 14.5, though, for the Saints, which is 6th. 3 takeaways for the Panthers, which is 15th. 4 for the Saints, which is 8th. 3 interceptions for the Saints. They actually both have 3, but this is a good example of why, I said still early at this point in the season, there's a lot of jumbled up teams that are technically tied. And, just where they ended up falling on the list, the Panthers are 9th, the Saints are 8th. So, but the Panthers have 0 fumbles, which has them in 31st. The Saints have 1, which has them at 17th. 14 sacks for the Panthers, which has them at 1st. And 4 for the Saints, which has them at 20th. 11 passes defense for the Panthers, which is 5th. And 8th for the Saints, which is 16th. And then, of course, as always, I add in the Dolphins' current league standings, and this is, of course, updated with the Week 3 matchup between the Panthers and the Texans that just got played tonight. So here's the offensive statistics and, of course, the defensive statistics as well. And there you have it. With that, that ends my week 2 quick hit scouting report video for the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. Again, I will try and be a little bit better so that way I can make sure to do them, in chronological order. So that way, the week 2 stuff comes before week 3 before week 4, etc., etc. That's my mistake, but I will be better. So with that, I'm going to get out of here. Hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. Of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.